These sounds are great. They add some flavor.
I like them sounds.
No, they're good.
I need to use them some more.
And it's fun to know that you're on the track and no one else knows.
Yeah, nobody knows it.
But now everyone listening to the show knows.
Today we're talking about a song that marked a new wave for hip-hop in the late 2000s. It's a track by one of the biggest rappers of all time, and this is easily one of his most beloved songs.
And today we have a very special guest, the man behind the beat of this Grammy-winning track, super producer Bangladesh.
That's right. We're talking one song, and that song is A Milli by Lil Wayne.
Nigerian hair, my criteria compared to your career just isn't fair. I'm a venereal disease, like a menstrual bleed through the pencil and leak on the sheet of the tablet in my mind, cause I don't write shit, cause I...
I'm actor, writer, director, and sometimes DJ Diallo Riddle.
And I'm producer, DJ, songwriter, and musicologist Luxury, aka the guy who whispers, interpolation.
And this is one song.
The show where we break down the stems and stories behind iconic songs across genres and tell you why they deserve one more listen.
You will hear these songs like you've never heard them before.
And if you want to watch one song, you can watch this full episode on YouTube and Spotify. And while you're there, please like and subscribe.
Okay, so our guest today has worked with superstar talent across hip-hop and pop and pretty much every genre. If you don't know him by name, you definitely know his music quite well. He's the man behind such classics as Beyonce's Diva, Ludacris's What's Your Fantasy, Gucci Mane's Lemonade. I'm going to go on and put Did It On Him by Nicki Minaj on this list. But this list is long. It goes on and on and on. But for now, let's show our love for Grammy award-winning super producer, Bangladesh.
Yay!
That's what's up. That's what's up.
What's up? How y'all doing?
We're happier now because you're here. Like, you provided a soundtrack for, like I say sometimes DJ. Well, I used to be a full-time DJ.
Okay.
And I DJ'd this one nightclub, Boulevard 3. I DJ'd every Friday and Saturday night. I did all the big, special events, and every Friday, Saturday night from 2006 until about 2014, 8 years. During that time, I was fully aware of your dominance. Like, as a DJ, we always thank the producers for making our jobs easier. So, like when the new Sean Garrett came out, you know what I'm saying? When the Jamie Foxx Speak French came out, like whatever it was, I always felt like Bangladesh is going to hook this up. I don't know what I'm going to play at midnight when the party has to go all the way to a 10, but Bangladesh is going to release something this month and it's going to make my life easier. So to you, sir, I say thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
You could do a whole Bangladesh set, over the course of the night. And if you were in Atlanta, because you were based in Atlanta and continue to live there, it's different. Partying and clubbing in Atlanta is just a different thing because so many of the artists live there. So you might just be in the club and then, especially back in that time, like Luda would just walk in or T.I. and Tiny would walk in. Like, they would just walk into this. You'd be at the strip club and Jeezy would be giving the DJ money and he'd debut a brand new Jeezy song. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. LA's not like that. Like, you're really just going off of how popular is the song and will people dance to it. And every single time, your tracks just got people to that dance floor.
Thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit of how you got started in this business, like from your time in Iowa to first moving to Atlanta to meeting some of these first superstars?
Yeah, I'm from Des Moines, Iowa. Ain't much going on,
No burgeoning rap scene out of Des Moines right
now?
now?
There's no music scene. Growing up, like I knew of two rappers. I knew one was close to my family. Then I knew another one. He went to school with my cousin, my older cousin.
What about on the music making side? Were you a musician or did you have tools?
I wasn't making music then, but a lot of my cousins, a lot of my uncles, grandpas play instruments, sing very well.
So you're around music and creativity.
Yeah. It's around, it's in the blood. But I didn't have what they had. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm the least talented out of the ones that do music. In the sense of like
playing the guitar and
playing instruments and singing and stuff like that,
Right.
The least talented. I was like, I could hold a note and I could play with something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I never really had the desire to like learn an instrument. Like I always like wanted to, but I just never took it serious like I did the MPC, the beat machine. You know what I'm saying? Like something about that is just it made me want to sequence and because I wanted to go from this beat to that beat.
Right.
Like that's all I wanted to figure out. Like how
Yeah.
I go from this to that. How I put sounds in here. How you know what I'm
So
saying?
that machine unlocked the creativity that
Yeah,
was there.
yeah.
That was your instrument.
Yeah.
Was the MPC.
Yeah, I would say I'm more creative, less talent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I just got to stop you there because I think that is a talent. I don't
No, it's a
undersell it.
talent.
Yeah,
it's a talent. But
It's a
when
different
I
kind.
speak of talent, it's like more like God-given kind of like instrumentation,
understand.
singing
Yeah,
ability.
sure.
That's the talent. I mean, a lot of talented people aren't creative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
But if you
You
have
can
the
sing
best
someone
of both
else's song, but
worlds,
you
like,
can't write your own song.
yeah,
that kind of
if
thing.
you have the best of both worlds, you're in a good space. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you know, really don't really find too many of those. There's not too many princes in the world. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, I just want to point out that we just did a Parliament episode, and George Clinton didn't play an instrument,
Yeah.
but he had the vision. He had
Yeah.
the creative
The
vision.
creativity
You know what I'm
is
saying?
really the catalyst of it all to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the creative one is the hardest working one. You know, I've seen talented people work less. They take it for granted in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like people that just come out the womb and can just naturally do stuff
Right.
and play. Things come to them so easily, and they kind of like things you've done from birth. You don't have the passion, the fire kind of leaves a little bit.
You moved to Atlanta at what age?
16,
Moved
17.
to Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you get to Atlanta, because I'm so curious, because that's probably around like 92 or something like that.
No, that
Like-
was 95 I moved.
Oh, 95. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Like
because,
right after Outkast came out.
right. Tell us, how did you go from brand new kid in Atlanta to meeting Ludacris?
I moved to College Park, Georgia. The high school I went to is called Tri-Cities High School.
Tri-Cities High School. I
in
went to
East
Mays.
Point. Okay, yeah.
So, we had a friendly rivalry.
Mhm.
We won't fight
So
today.
going to Tri-Cities, it was a magnet school.
Mm-hmm.
So my female cousins went to this school. So
And by the way, Outkast went to the school.
Outkast, some of 112, some of Jagged
Mhm.
Edge, TLC.
Well, in all
Escape.
fairness, TLC and 112 also have Mays connections.
Yes. Keenan from Saturday Night
Yep.
Live. I went to school with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, coming from where I'm from, I was listening to Outkast. Outkast had just came out. I fell
right.
in love with, the production, Organized Noise.
Organized Noise.
Um,
Who we want to have on the show at some
yeah,
point.
so when I went to Tri-Cities, Rico Wade's sister went there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, it's Rico Wade's. I'm like, and all I wanted to, like, my whole idea, like, just thinking small, but big. I was like, man, I just want to be in Dungeon Family. I just want to be
That makes
a part
sense.
of what they're doing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I'm not a type of person that likes to join things. I'm more of an individual.
Mhm.
So me wanting to join something, like, I really like rock with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going to Tri-Cities. First 2 weeks, I'm going to lunch. I'm just in there, just sitting at the lunchroom table, just killing time for 2 weeks straight. 2 weeks
Mhm.
straight. Sit at the same spot, same table. 2 weeks straight, another guy sitting at the same table across from me for 2 weeks straight. We never said a word to each other. Looking at each other, checking each other out. After 2 weeks, we start talking to each other.
Mm.
Hey, man, we'll just spark up a conversation about something. Through the conversation, we kind of into the same things. We kind of like have the same type of demeanor, same type of swag, same type of ideas. So him and his cousin came and picked me up.
Okay.
Like probably a weekend, we just was outside.
Yeah.
They come pick me up in a little
I was just about to ask what kind of car it was.
that
Yeah.
little joint.
Yeah.
He in the passenger seat, his cousin's driving. His
Mhm.
cousin is Lil Fate. Lil Fate is
Wow.
Ludacris hype man.
There you go.
But Lil Fate was a rapper. Like he was a striving,
Yeah,
trying to
trying to make
pursue.
Yep.
But these are all high school students. You're talking
Yeah,
sophomore,
we all
junior
high
year.
school.
You're
We
talking-
all in.
he's a
we all,
sophomore.
Yeah, we all in school.
16, 17.
Yes, and these are like hoop dreams, rap dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So every weekend we would just kick it. Like our thing was, we'll get a hotel room. We'll chip in, get a hotel room, just smoke weed, and have rap ciphers.
Yeah, of course.
So I would beatbox or bang on the table and they'll rap. So probably after like 5-6 times, I seen Chris.
The Chris being Ludacris for those
Ludacris, yeah.
listening. Yeah.
So Chris came one time with Fate.
Yeah.
So we just all in the room. We doing the same thing. I didn't know him like that was his friend. I didn't know him. They're in a rap group. Lil Fate, I-20, Ludacris. All in a rap group.
Yeah. I-20, wow.
They did this song that made it on a compilation and it was a big deal. So through that situation, he started to want to go solo, or people telling him you should do your own thing, make a solo project, whatever. Me and Chris wasn't at cool yet. Like we wasn't like, this is my boy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lil Fate and I-20 lived in Chris' condo. Chris never wanted nobody over there when he wasn't home, which is understood. Lil Fate would sneak me in there though. He would sneak me in his house because he had an MPC. So I would just play with his beat machine. And I eventually got my own. I saved up $2,500 of cutting hair. And I got an MPC now. I'm making beats, this tape. I got this tape. I said, come listen to my beats. Took him to my car. He's sitting in the passenger seat. And like, soon as I hit play, he was like looking through the windshield. He was looking through the windshield. Next beat, come on. He just looking. 4 beats go by. And we get out the car. He's just walking towards the shop. He says, what you doing with them beats? He's like, can I get that? So I give him the beat tape. 2 weeks go by. See him again. He's like, man, I got a hook for that. I got hooked for one of them beats. He's like, use a hoe, use a hoe. I said that use a hoe. So, like, I ain't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was corny to me. Like, because when I was making the beat, like I'm thinking of something else. Like I'm thinking of
something deep.
Nothing deep, but like more like hood, like some ghetto. You know what I'm saying? So when he said that, I was like, all right, I ain't tell him that. I was like, okay, whatever. What's Your Fantasy was the last beat I gave him. So when I gave him the beat, and it came on like that.
Yeah.
Dun 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 boom. Boom. Then it went into another beat. He was feeling that. He's like, I like that part. Just make that the beat. So I went home. I put the hi-hat on it. Then I made the change. Backseat.
That's my favorite part of the song. Like with the beat.
The change.
Let's hear a little bit of that.
I love changes in beats.
Yes,
Can we hear
the beginning of verse 3. Yeah. Let's play right now.
I want to get you in the backseat, windows up. That's the way you like them. Clogged up, fog alert. Rip the pants and rip the shirt.
Trust me, the first time I heard that little
That's surprising,
Yeah.
What instrument is that? What are you playing there?
All that's are stabs I took from something I was listening to at the time. It's either a Roots album.
The Roots?
D'Angelo Project, the Voodoo album.
It's on Voodoo. We literally just did the Roots episode like last
Project.
week.
The pieces, chopped up pieces, or as a full beat?
No, chopped up. I would just take sounds and just make my own
You took Quest's snare and you chopped it up. Oh, look at that. Quest is a big friend of the show.
Okay.
That's great to know. Can I also say, my favorite parts are when you change up the beat right there. And it's also when Luda says, eating fresh fruit. And ad-lib for the second he said that, I was like, this is a rapper with a sense of humor. I get down with this because like that, there was no need for him to make. But he understood. Sometimes when you're, having sex, fresh fruit is a great thing to have on. I just like fresh fruit. All right. When What's Your Fantasy first came out, you could not go out in Atlanta. Like, it was like a parking lot thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, people would just blast that. You would hear it everywhere. I mean, we've talked a little bit about it in terms of What's Your Fantasy. Could you say a little bit more about your process of sampling at this point?
Yeah, my process of sampling, I didn't look at it like sampling because I wasn't traditional sampling. When you think of sampling, you think of like taking a song and sampling
kind
a
of rapping
song.
over
it.
You know what I'm saying?
I was more into like taking sounds.
Exactly.
Taking hits, stabs, drum sounds.
Right. So you're talking, it's like less of a wholesale loop.
Yeah,
It's less of like
like
a
just,
looped entire thing.
sounds
It's just
like
the individual
to
pieces.
piece it.
So that's how
all
you made
together.
you're just saying that's how you made the beat itself
Yeah.
with the snare maybe from Quest or something.
Exactly.
And then you were also saying that the stab, that was like a moment that you grabbed and then you pitched it up and down to change the tonality.
I
the key.
Put when you change the keys into the pad, and I was just
Right. I always make the analogy because people understand this. It's like, you remember the old barking dog Christmas songs? Woof, 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 woof. It gets a little bit higher and thinner, but it's the same sample, just moved up and down the keyboard.
You know, we're talking now, we're in the 2000s, and now you're producing for a lot of artists. I could do a whole episode about your work with 8Ball and MJG. This is not the time, but I would love to at a future time talk about that. But at some point, you're producing beats and you produce this classic beat from the 2000s. Let's hear a little bit of Bossy by Khalees.
I'm bossy. I'm the one y'all love to hate. I'm the chick that raised the stakes. I told young Stanley he should switch to 8. I'm back with the 808.
So good. So good.
I think there's something specifically about Atlanta. We are a car culture. When I was growing up in Atlanta, anytime a car went by, all you ever heard was that 808 coming out of cars. This is that 808 sound that you really appreciate more, not when it's all in your, because people in New York are walking. They got on these headsets, they got on the Walkman speakers, but when you're in a car culture, everybody's gone to Allen Ed's Auto Sound and wherever else the mom and pop places, and they've tricked it. The speakers are rattling.
There was a point producing in my stage of producing where 808s weren't even needed. It was just the kick drum.
Right.
I would say, to be honest, and people tell me this, I think I started using the 808 to where it's like made it the driving point of production in today's time. I would use my 808s in melody form. Like it would be the bass line. You know what I'm saying?
It's the bass for a Milli. It's the only bass content is the kick drum.
But even like changing the notes,
that's what I was trying to say about
things
that
like
old,
that, wasn't
that
really
bass.
being done. And people would tell me like, man, I remember I was working with Mary J. I was making a beat on spot, and her husband at the time, he was listening to it. He was like, man, the 808's like the bass line.
I think people need to know that about your pioneering efforts with this, because I got to tell you, all the hip hop that we've broken down, like everything from the Juice WRLD, from Lucid Dreams, we've had at least 3 or 4 episodes where more recent hip hop has had the kick drum be the bass. It was also in Doja Cat, Paint the Town. We went to Beverly Hills High School. They were teaching the kids, and we heard all the beats the kids were making, and they were making beats where the bass lines were 808 kicks. Yeah. You've influenced a generation.
It's the thing. I feel like at first, I do things unconsciously knowing. Like some people know what they doing. Like, man, I'm the first, man, I'm gonna do this. Right. But I'm doing things as I go unconsciously. It's just what I feel. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a right or wrong. Even when I started tagging the beat, I wasn't thinking like, this is what it is. Like, oh, I want people to know me. Cause my name wasn't even Bangladesh when I was tagging the beat. That was my company.
Okay.
I'm like doing more of a presenting my company. So when I started tagging, people just started calling me that. Like, Bangladesh. They didn't know Chandre was Bangladesh. They thought it was 2 different people.
For those who don't know, how did you get the name? How did the name Bangladesh
Well,
come to
I
you?
was always in search of a name.
Okay.
But Bangladesh was a word that we would describe cool stuff as that. Man, that's Bangladesh. We was on the road. We'd be like, man, let's take her to Room Bangladesh. We just used it. I don't know where it came from.
Like from banging, like it's just good?
Man, it wasn't no really definition of why. It just the word. Was something we was using.
It was just your word.
Me and my friends used to be like, man, she looked like she from Bangor, Maine.
Bangalore, India. That's where my wife's from, actually.
It's just something we would use, and people always describe my beats as different. So I took the different, Bangladesh being a foreign country, my beats foreign to the ear. It got bang in it. I'm heavy on the 808.
I dig it.
Then-
I will say it's a very hard term to Google sometimes.
It
you know?
is. That's the catch-22 of it too. I'm competing with a whole country.
Yes, you are.
So it's like that
Your one
people
man
don't-
could be against
Lucky
a
for
whole
you, their
country
beats
full
are
of
I'm
people.
terrible.
one man. People like I made all these hits. People like, man, I never seen you before. Man,
People are like,
It's
man, that
the myth.
country is really talented.
it's the man in the myth. Wow, it's really you.
You're working with artists of all different genres, but I feel like you're still like you do have a basis in the South. Like you have a do you feel like you're part of the Southern scene at this point, you know, given the artists that you're working with?
I never looked at myself as a Southern producer I kind of don't like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Good to know.
Because I'm more broad than that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one thing I came to realize. I'm like, I'm glad I wasn't born in Atlanta. I'm glad I'm from where I'm from. Being from Des Moines, whatever's popping is popping.
Yeah.
Like, you know, East Coast listen. I'm sure they listen some West Coast, but it wasn't as cool as listening to your own stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They definitely wasn't listening to the South. Southerns wasn't listening to up north. Southerns wasn't, you know,
was
when
very
I first
regional
went to
back then.
Atlanta,
Mhm.
it was isolated. Like my friends are from there. I'm coming out, I'm listening to Nas, I'm putting them on different stuff. Like, man, I don't know. And I'm playing
like,
it for
we need to
them.
listen to this
I'm
Master
playing
P.
it for them, and they like, man, Nas is hard. I like Nas. You know, so I
Yeah.
like
Right.
this, I like that. See, I'm already on this stuff. I'm on everything, but not as hard as they are. You know what I'm saying? It was a different grade scale for me. Like, no disrespect.
Uh-oh, here it comes, y'all. Here comes the disrespect.
No different. It was just a different grade scale. Before Outkast came out, before there was a Southern hip hop culture, Organized and Outkast created Southern hip hop.
They really did.
It wasn't like
They really did.
we're not talking about Southern music. We're not talking about booty shake, because that's what
Booty
Atlanta
Shake was
was
great.
known for.
Yeah.
Miami is booty shake
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
That wasn't as
3 hours of booty
respected
shake.
in the music game.
Mhm.
Like, it was like, oh, they doing booty shake. Like, that's not, it's nothing. To me,
Love
it
it.
wasn't nothing that inspired me, that fed my soul. It wasn't
Right.
nothing that was teaching me nothing. You know what I'm saying?
You know, being from the South, even Southern artists like Master P, you know, I would say that back in those days, you either sounded East Coast or West Coast,
Mhm.
Bay Area, or Houston, specifically Houston,
Yeah,
Texas,
yeah.
right? Master P back in those days, he sounded like Scarface. He sounded like a Texas
Mhm.
rapper, even though he would just as often claim like Vallejo,
Mhm.
you know, the Bay Area. But over time, artists like Outkast sort of like defined a new sound for the South, and people sort of followed that in. I want to point out that Master P is successful, and then along comes Cash Money Records, which, you know, sort of, you know, applies Louisiana, New Orleans specifically, sort of starts creating their own unique sound. And there's a 9-year-old in the clique. And that 9-year-old is Lil Wayne. And, you know, it's crazy to think that this guy was 9 years old when he starts rapping with Cash Money. But, you know, Lil Wayne was an interesting figure because I think that was the first time I realized that the number one rapper was younger than me. You know what I mean? Like, that was like, you know, Jay-Z older than me. Obviously, Tupac and Biggie older than me. When Lil Wayne took the stage around like the Fireman era,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, like I was just like, oh, this is about to, there's about to be another change. Like
Yeah.
they're about to pass it off to a new generation. I will say, I think Wayne's run on the mixtapes during this era is one for the record books.
Yeah, it set up everything for the future to come.
It really
It
did.
just set him up. You know, without that setup, a Millie wouldn't be big like that.
It didn't pop up in a vacuum. It wasn't just
No.
like, pop, here I am. I mean, like, there was a time, I
That-
think Jay-Z called it mixtape Wheezy.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I think some of those Dedication 2, I don't know if it's just where I was in life at that time, but Dedication 2 is like a classic mixtape. It's got that DJ Dramadine Cannon remix on there, like hard ass track.
Yeah, have a few words with the
Cannon.
Yeah, tell it to my motherfucking
Cannon.
Yeah, straight up, I ain't got no conversation for you. Nigga, talk to the
Cannon.
I have to ask you, before you worked with Wayne, what was your impression of Wayne? And was there a specific track that jumped out to you back then?
Nah, I wasn't even listening to Lil Wayne.
Wow.
Like, I wasn't, I think anything like younger than me, I wasn't really like listening to it.
No,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
fair. It's,
Not
yeah.
because I ain't like it. I was aware of it. I could like you and not listen to your music. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I could think like you're
There's so many artists like that.
yeah, you're a great artist. You know what I'm saying? But it's not something I'm just bumping all day.
So how does Lil Wayne get into your orbit as an artist that you either aim to work for or you fall into
Well,
it?
like I was kind of explaining, like I ain't gotta listen to your music to really be into you.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a lot of artists out there that I feel like I would love to produce or work with, that something about them intrigued me to where if we made a song,
Mm.
it'll be a different perspective
I
Yeah, yeah.
totally
Of-
understand that.
and give the full landscape of all the possibilities.
Right.
Because a lot of people stay in their box. Being a producer, that's kind of like one of my goals is to, when I go in the studio, I want to create something that will create a new fan base for you. I don't want to just give you the same stuff
Mm-hmm.
for your fans
Yeah.
to listen to. I want to give you something that your fans will accept and will grab new ones
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
because it's a little different than what you usually do. And I feel like that's a producer's job, to be honest. I don't want to do the same things. Just like Lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Lemonade is like,
Lemonade by Gucci Mane. I think one of the absolute breakout hits for Gucci.
Sixes, no 20s in my gun. Look at this motor knocking because it is a lemon. I like them Georgia peaches, but you look more like a lemon.
yeah, so Gucci is like one of them artists where you can be somewhere and people don't like Gucci Mane. You know what I'm saying? But I know Gucci is like really a great artist. Like he's really good, but you might not have heard what the possibilities of that is.
Right.
So making Lemonade to me was one of those records for Gucci that made the people that didn't like him before like him.
For
Like,
real.
man,
Yeah.
I love that song.
It was a different side of Gucci
Yeah, it
that we
was a
hadn't
different
seen up
side of
until
Gucci.
then. Yeah.
And to me, like
And that's to your point.
conceptually,
Yeah.
like him coming up with Yellow, he came up with that. He's like, Yellow everything. And it just was an idea.
It's a
And it was
vision.
like, I don't know where he going with this. He's like, Yellow everything, bang. I'm like, what's so significant? I'm in my own head, like, so significant
yellow
about
snare?
Yellow.
Yellow what? Yellow.
Like yellow this, he like, your MP yellow, bang, the copy yellow, the couch yellow, this yellow. And I'm like, why can't it be blue or red? Like, I don't understand.
That's
Like,
not the vision. The vision is yellow.
Yellow. so
I can hear Gucci saying that too.
so everything fit perfectly as a song to where the way I like to make songs, where the verses and the concept and the hook, everything go
All
together.
married. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love those songs. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Chiquita. He's like, you can't bring old Yellow back. He like all this yellow, everything. I'm like, man, this man a genius.
Gucci Mane is like Lorne Michaels. Anytime someone who's talked to him starts talking about what he said, they inevitably start doing an impression of the
like him,
person. They are absolutely just like that.
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to Wayne for just a second. You said that in a story that when you first approached him, he was backstage and in the zone and ignoring you.
Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like just curious. Did you already have a specific vision for him, or were you too busy
Nah.
thinking about like why is this dude
I
not?
think this
paying
was
attention to me?
in 03. This was in 03.
Okay.
Millie came out in 06. So I seen Lil Wayne sitting there. Like, he just sitting there. Now, mind you, I'm not like a people person. I'm not like a conversational person.
Right.
I'm just a quiet person. So, and I know like people have good days, bad days.
Of course.
People might be intoxicated, might be sober. So I'm aware of all this. So I never would be offended by how you treat me, but it might not make me, I might not just walk up on anybody. I just
Yeah.
might see somebody and just let them be. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, I was like, man, I'm going to go over there and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? So I go over there. He's sitting in a chair just like this, just chilling. I come right here. I see y'all, I'm Bangladesh. Chandra, I'm Chandra. I did 8 Ball and MJG. I did this, because I'm thinking like he knows 8Ball and MJG. Like I know he knows them. I'm sure he look up to them. I'm sure he's inspired by this.
Right.
So I used that. I was like, y'all did this because I had they single. So I did this, woo, 8Ball and MJG. He did me like this. He's like, hold on. He like
No reaction.
He was like,
He just shook his head at you.
He just nods. He's like,
and
"That's
just
nice."
went back to
No words. Silence.
But 4 years later, he's on, I think so, I saw somewhere he had like literally 200 songs released during like 2007. Like him and T-Pain were on everything. They were featured on everything for like 2 years. And now you get back in the studio with him. And then we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that when we get back. That's right. When we get back, we'll dive into the isolated stems of one of the most influential hip-hop songs of all time and get some insight into how a classic project like the Carter 3 came together. We'll be back right after this. A lot of people aren't aware of how much they spend each month. I know that counts for me. Do you know how many subscriptions you pay for? What about how much you spend on takeout or delivery? It's probably more than you think. But there's an app designed to help you manage your money better. It's called Rocket Money.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
Rocket Money shows you all of your expenses in one place, including subscriptions you forgot about. If you see a subscription you no longer want, Rocket Money will help you cancel it.
Their dashboard lays out your total financial picture, including bill due dates, paydays, in a way that's easy to digest. You can even automatically create custom budgets based on your past spending.
Rocket Money's 5 million members have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, with members saving up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features.
Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/onesong today.
That's rocketmoney.com/onesong. rocketmoney.com/onesong.
rocketmoney.com/onesong.
Welcome back to One Song. We're here with super producer Bangladesh.
All right, Bangladesh, we're going to walk through your original beats from the original session for Amelia. This is so exciting for all of us. Before we get into it, can you just give us a quick backstory to how you put the beat together the first time?
Yeah, like what element of this came first?
the vocal. The
Which a lot of us
Amelie.
did not know. That wasn't just Wayne himself saying the word a million, then pitched down, but that's not where that is from. It's a sample.
That's right.
Yes, I want everybody to know that the track came with a concept. I like people to know this, that a lot of the beats, the production comes with concepts already. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people think that the writer or the artist came up with the top lines of things. You know what I'm saying?
No, get into it.
Like the Millie was on there. So it's easy for a writer or a rapper to have the
Respond to
concept.
it, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, Millie. I'm a young money millionaire.
Did you title the beat A Millie even?
Yeah, Millie.
That was your title even.
Even Diva, Beyonce, like that's on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So Sean Garrett, get it. Concepts are there. It's harder for a writer to come up with a concept to a beat that don't have melodies and stuff.
Right.
So it's like it'll be more difficult to come up with. I'm a diva. Ooh, diva. Let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's there. You know what I'm saying? So
That's so interesting.
it
'cause
kind of gives a
starting point for the artist.
starting point, and we're
the top line.
We ain't gotta go through, creative ideas.
Right.
In the beginning, I wasn't thinking like a Millie was the hook. I was still in a time where songs were structured with hooks.
Yes.
Like it was a certain system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Certain structure,
Right.
sequence. So I previously had wrote a top line to a Millie to complement the vocal
Oh, you
on the
had?
beat.
Wait a second.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait a second. Do you remember what that was? Can you tell us? Because we'd be dying to know what the original hook for
I would
Amelie
have-
was.
I would have to hear it. It was dope though. Like it was dope. Like I really sequenced the song like a song. You know what I'm saying? So when I heard his version, I was kind of throwed off. I didn't like it.
Right.
I heard you say that you didn't hear a hook.
I didn't hear a hook.
Even the rap song No Hooks has as a chorus, we don't need no hooks. Like,
Yeah.
they couldn't even step out of the box that much.
But I know they came up with that because they didn't have
Right, I
it.
know. That's what I'm saying. Even a song called No Hooks has a hook. This song is amazing because it blew all the way up, and the chorus, if you want to call it that, is the bed of the entire song.
You know, if I went into a studio with a writer, what a writer would have did, he would have muted the vocal to write it.
Mm. In fact, you pitched this song to a rapper who basically said, "Hey, can you take that? Can you take those Amelies
I played
out?"
this for Cassidy. I was in the studio in New York. I played him the beat. But ever since I made the beat, I wanted Lil Wayne to have the beat. When I first created it in my basement, in my studio, I said, Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne needs this beat. So I had the beat for a while. I've been like meetings with executives, and I would play the beat. Anybody I played the beat for loved it was like the only beat that I ever played
That everyone liked.
that everyone likes.
Responded to. And you said no.
Everyone.
You said no every time.
Everyone likes it. And I had a situation where a person was like, he was like, man, I want to buy it. And I said, like, who you hear on it? It don't matter. It's a hit. But it mattered to me.
It matters to you.
That was the wrong answer for you.
Like, it matters to me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because, like, the money that you're going to give me for the beat
Yeah.
that I
Means
asked for
nothing
is
if-
really nothing
Yeah.
compared to what I really see this as being. So, you know, I had the beat for a while before I actually pitched it to Wayne. And I actually had a inside source that walked it into Wayne.
Listen, without any further ado, let's get into the stems, and we're going to talk about what I want to set up here is to the conversation we've just been happening. There are very few elements in this massive hit song, and part of why it matters is because the craftsmanship that went into it, the vision that you had, the selection of what is essentially, I think there are 4 sounds, if I'm not mistaken, but those 4 sounds are everything. So let's listen, starting with the kick drum, that very specific 808 sound that you selected, and here's what it sounds like. And then we'll build up the beat from there. That's a big, extended, long decay. It's got
Sounds like the street.
the
street I grew up on.
It sounds like the cars you're driving
Yep.
in Atlanta you were talking about. And to that you added this clap. That clap is crazy sounding. That clap slaps.
I don't
That's
even
loud
look,
clap.
I don't even really, it's not really a clap though.
What is it?
It's more like a snare.
It's a snare. Okay. Yeah. Do you know where you got
Because
it
it's
from?
hard, it's bottom heavy. Like it's it's not like a clap. It's definitely a main sound in there, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like I put that snare in other songs that became hits too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that one shows up
Yeah,
in
it
other
seemed
productions.
like every
Is that
time
the
I
same
use
snare
it,
clap that's in Diva?
yeah.
And by its reuse, it becomes a distinctive part of your sound, palette. You're taking these otherwise not off the rack, but these sounds that exist in other places, but together they become uniquely yours. Like when we add the kickback, so the beat becomes. And then this is the part of the drum stem where we point out that that's one of just 2 beats that go every 2 bars. We swap from that beat to the snare.
Every four
Is it every 4?
bars.
1, 2. And then here's that second part of it with just the snare. And I never noticed before there's some like little ambiance in there, a little reverb.
Little
something.
reverb,
Yeah.
yeah. Mix engineer.
I mean, again,
Yeah.
I just hear Atlanta because I was in the drum line at Maze. You know what I'm saying? Like Atomic Thunder all day. You know, that to me, that has that sort of like vibe of Friday night halftime, you know, just showing out, trying to be the FAMU Rattlers, just hitting that drum. You know what I'm
I
saying?
can see
Yeah.
That snare.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
You're right.
I don't think
thought
of
about that.
Atlanta though
Yeah.
when I hear a melody.
Oh, man, we gonna go to
just
war,
don't.
man. We gotta go to war. Atlanta's great.
It is. I just don't. I don't hear it.
I never thought about it, but you're so right. That high pitched, it's probably, is that from an 808? If it's not, it's very
With
similar.
the snare.
That
yeah,
snare there.
It's a 808.
It's 808
snare.
pitched up,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
right? I mean, I'm utterly inspired by the simplicity. And one thing I want to say about it, or ask you really, because I've heard you talk about this, is I've heard you talk a little bit about how you're process is that you sometimes start with more and then reduce. And
It's
that
true
happened here.
sometimes,
Okay.
but this was real simple. I made this beat real quick. It was just really
Okay.
a feeling beat. You know what I'm saying? So once I had the vocal, I hurried up and I felt everything that I was doing. So once I completed it, them few sounds, like I just felt like
It was enough.
It was
You
enough.
didn't have to do anything more.
Yeah.
You knew that was enough.
Yeah.
That to me is, I admire that and envy that a little bit because I'll keep going past when I
Mhm.
should have stopped.
Mhm.
And sometimes that's
I
months
can
and
do
years.
that too sometimes, you know. Sometimes when you keep adding,
Yeah.
it can turn into something else. So the benefit of that, like you can isolate things, you can make a whole new beat out of something.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this don't need this. Let me take this and create something else out of it.
Right.
But it took that for you to really hear what was
Right.
going on. So you can multiply your production just in one beat. But this one particular, like what you hear is just where I stopped. I was cool.
This is
with
it. This is the one.
You said that A Milli came first. Tell us a little bit about that sample and how that song came under, your awareness to sample it.
It's a sample from El Segundo remix, Tribe Called Quest.
Left My Wall and
It's,
El Segundo
Vampire
Spike
mix.
Dog. I was listening to it with somebody. I said, what is that? And it just intrigued my ear.
See, stop
I'm
right
like,
there
what
because
is
like
it?
that's the thing I don't think people give enough respect to
Mhm.
in this game is what you're describing is not something that it doesn't have, that's not like a quote unquote normal thing. You noticed in a fraction of audio in the middle of an obscure, remix. It's not even the most well-known, the dancehall remix. I mean, I hadn't heard it. I'm a huge, I know that record inside and out. And in that moment, something grabbed you and you flipped it and it became this.
I think every producer, that's the brilliance of every producer.
Yeah.
Is there's something that they hear that intrigues them to push forward and create something. You know what I'm saying? That's because something has to motivate you to actually start pursuing this as something because it's time that goes into it. Every super producer, every creative producer has something that intrigues them.
Yeah.
Like what intrigues
In
me,
sound.
it might not be the same for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you heard that record before, but see, that's the thing. You might hear stuff that I don't hear.
Right. But a through line in your career is you're hearing fragments of sound
because
that you grab and they have meaning to you.
Yes, because like my theory of it is like if I have a title, if I have a one-word title and a vocal, something vocal that repeats, you already got the people. The mind works like that, where it's like the simplest thing and a word as powerful as a milli. We're in that society where money runs the world. So then on top of that, pitching a voice down, like the lower tone voices, women love.
All right.
It's a science to this. Like women, like I noticed just observing, women love low tone vocal. They love it.
Okay.
It does something to them.
And here's what it sounds like in the mix as a loop. It's addictive. You just want to keep listening to that loop. That's so crazy.
It's so good.
And keep going back to the story you just told about hearing it go by in the song and then just having to go back to it and just having that be something you identified as having value to reuse in a new way. That's crazy to me. I can't wrap my head around how your brain works. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, that's the point of producing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm fascinated by things that I hear that people sampled. You know, I'm like, dang, like my son, my oldest son, when he started making beats, and he's playing me the beat, and it's like it's good. I'm like, man, where you get that? Like, how'd you? That's
son,
the
dude.
intriguing part. You know what I'm saying? Like the way people take things and mash it up.
Before we get into Wayne's vocal, you pointed out that there's one thing I hadn't even noticed, which is you.
Mhm.
You're the fifth sound
Yeah.
underneath Wayne on this track, or
The-
fourth sound.
Yeah, I just
And,
sauced it up with some voice overdub yelling and ahs and oohs and
Let's-
stuff.
Let's hear some of those. This is Bangladesh. And here comes another one. I'll put it to the beat. Did you just go through the whole track and make a different sound every few bars? These sounds are great. They add some
Yeah, I
flavor.
like
there.
them sounds.
No, they're
Yeah.
good.
I need to use them some more.
And it's fun to know that you're on the track and no one
Yeah.
else knows.
Yeah, nobody knows it.
But now everyone listening to the show knows.
And by the way, you showed some discretion because sometimes I always laugh when people put air horn on the studio version. Like it's always, it will forever be like a world premiere. I think Missy says, "No, Keisha."
Yeah.
Like it's like it's almost 20 years old now,
Yeah.
but like, you did not do that. You just
and I would like to give credit to Missy because like she,
yeah.
some of them ad libs is kind of influenced by her. what she
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. No, one of the absolute most influential people in hip hop history, just brought so much to it. Listen, we're talking about a Millie. Let's talk about Wayne. Let's talk about the vocals that Wayne provided on this track. And let's start at the beginning.
A millionaire, I'm a young money millionaire, tougher than Nigerian hair. My criteria compared to your career just isn't fair. I'm a venereal disease like a menstrual bleed.
It's crazy that there's a song. It's just every you play this song to this day, people know every single line.
Mhm.
They know every single line of that verse. You know what I'm saying? I remember one of the first bonding experience I had with my eventual wife. I was at that nightclub. It was a really dead night, and she just happened to be hanging out in the DJ booth with me. We were just friends, but I was playing that song because, it's the summer of 08. Like, this song was every freaking where. Like, it was just, you could play it several times in one night. And we were just up in there, like, vibing out and when you get to the part about the Maserati, we were just both in there just going like this.
In the almighty power of that chopper, sister, brother, son, daughter, father, motherfucker, copper, got the Maserati
Dancing on the bridge. And I was like, I might marry this lady. I did not think that at the time, but it was an early, you're the reason I'm married, Bangladesh. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's cool.
Just connected. But yeah, seriously, you provided some fun times for a young couple.
Cool.
And you told us when you first heard this that there was to your ears, there's no hook. Is that right?
Yeah, I was kind of thrown off a little bit. As a producer, my expectation was something else. So your expectations, I learned over the years, like expectations can ruin something great. You can mess yourself up expecting something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Or chasing that expectation too hard.
chasing it too hard or just expecting it, and you can be let down because it's not that it's not good. It's just what you expected is just overpowering what you're hearing or what you're seeing. You know what I'm saying? So you can confuse yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're all let down with expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a universal thing. So it's not that something is bad or good or like, it didn't live up to what it should. It's just personal. You know what I'm saying?
It's just different, right?
It was
Yeah.
different than what you had in your
Yeah.
head.
It's not what I had in my mind.
Right.
So when I first heard it, you know what I'm saying? I was like, dang, like,
So
where's the hook?
You weren't in the
Where's
room
the
with
hook?
Wayne, it sounds like.
No, I wasn't in the room with him.
Yeah. He just took your track, and
Took the
worked with an
track.
engineer, came up with the wrote it, whatever, on the spot or
Yeah.
whatever he did. And then you got it, as an MP3 got emailed to you? Like,
To be honest, it got leaked, is how I heard it. I
remember when this
I didn't
leaked.
hear
Yeah.
it coming from them. They didn't say, here's the song I did. They didn't communicate that.
I remember when this thing leaked, it was like on Zipwire or all those like things where all those file sharing
LimeWire.
sites. It wasn't even, it was past that. It was like a period
it
like,
was like 06, you're right.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I think you were probably starting your blog. This is 08.
SoundCloud?
This
Yeah,
is
08. I
this is
keep
08.
it.
This
Okay.
is so. This
It's
is
08.
Like SoundCloud, maybe?
SoundCloud, but
Early
they were
SoundCloud.
they're gone now. But there were like, all these websites where when a song would come out, you could go on there and there was like a link and it would have like the title. It'd say like
it's definitely blog era. It's definitely big time blog era.
Yeah. I think Hypebeast might have been around by this point, but like
Zshare and Linkshare.
Zshare, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
But it speaks to how important that mixtape period was for Wayne, when you could get a lot of those songs just straight from these kind of websites, that this album leaked online and it still sold 1 million in 1 week. You know what I mean? Like it speaks to where he was at. And then like it also, because on the strength of this song, so many other good things happen. I don't even want to move on from the vocals yet. Can you play me a little bit of verse 3? Because it has one of my favorite Wayne lines of all time.
They say I'm rapping like Big J and Tupac, Andre 3000. Where is Erykah Badu at? Who that said they gon' beat Lil Wayne? My name ain't big, but I keep that flame.
That whole little part in there was always great to me. And by the way, this is at a point where he had started saying, I'm the greatest rapper alive, and but where is Erykah Badu
to
at?
Me, I felt like he dumbed down his lyric ability for this. Like
Really?
Yeah, it's not top tier
lyricism.
It's
okay.
Because when you're top tier lyricism, things go over your head. I think the success of Millie is the kids can understand. Everybody can understand. You ain't got to be a rap fan to understand some of the things. He has like clever lyrics in there, but it's simple. Like 6 foot, 7 foot, he got more lyrics.
Bitch, real G's moving silence like lasagna. People say I'm borderline crazy, sorta kinda. Woman of my dreams, I don't sleep.
But it fit the track, is what it seems like. Maybe this is the most appropriate. What he did for the track clearly was the right thing for the track.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So my expectations weren't. I probably would have ruined the song with.
If you try to push him on the lyrics or push him on the hook.
Do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I probably would have ruined the success of it. I think the way he approached it and the way he treated it created the success.
You said in an interview, the song is what makes the beat make sense, which is exactly what you're saying. Like that's so philosophically, that's like profound. It's like the beat is the beat. You're making the beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the vocalist, which may be a Beyonce or Lil Wayne, it could be a song, which is different from a rapper. But it comes together very specifically as the marriage of those things.
Yeah.
I love that.
I read somewhere in an interview where you said you think Lil Wayne still has his Thriller inside him. You said you think he's still got a Thriller in him. Do you still feel that way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Only if the hunger's still there. You know?
Yeah.
But as far as like the career and the projects he's put out, I don't feel like he's conceptually put a complete body of work out that has substance.
I see what you're saying.
A lot of it is like metaphors and bars. Like we all say, oh, he's like the greatest rapper. He said this.
Mm-hmm.
But what is he saying?
I see what you're saying.
Like, what is he talking about something real? That's I think I was more into cadences and lyrics in my earlier days of life.
Yeah.
The creative thing. Ooh, like how Busta Rhymes flipped the words. But
yeah.
Like as I got older,
you need substance.
I need substance. Like nobody telling you nothing. Like when 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying came out, he's not like the top tier lyricist, just like Tupac. They're not top tier lyricists.
I always say that, yeah.
But they're like giving you substance. They're telling stories. They're making you feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it sounds real. It sounds like life situations or painting pictures of things. Not really all the time storytelling, but it's like something somebody went through or something you can feel. And it could be hard for him to do this because he's been in the music business since 9. So he wasn't
he's tired.
Wasn't outside.
Yeah.
What did he really live up till 0 to 9, to really talk about something. You know what I'm saying? So I could be asking for too much from somebody that, we talking about people that actually, people that can give you that actually live life.
They had to
Well,
be-
don't
what I'm
forget
saying?
Michael Jackson got in the game pretty early too. So
Yeah,
for that
but
analogy,
he had Quincy Jones.
yeah, he needs his Quincy
See,
Jones.
a lot of artists isolate themselves. Like he's going in
that's
there
true.
just him.
yeah.
He's just picking the beats he wants and he rapping over them. You know what I'm saying? And
He's not being
rappers,
guided by a producer.
and rappers, just like singers, they can make anything sound good because they rap good or they sing good. But is it good?
That's the talent versus creative thing you were
Exactly.
saying earlier.
Is there a
it
message? Is there
good,
meaning?
though?
Is there substance? Like you're saying.
Like how long is this gonna last?
Mhm.
Like it could be like intriguing for the first couple listens
Right.
because you might not have heard that
Sure.
bar before or something like that.
But does it connect
But-
emotionally?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, who do you think is putting out music like that right now? Who do you listen to when you want to hear substance?
For the mainstream artists, I would say Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
The album that people said was his worst album, the Mr. Morale.
Yeah.
I used to get chill bumps listening to that.
My kids love that album.
You know, like
Yeah.
the hair will raise up on my arms.
Mhm.
Listening to the substance of it. J. Cole has substance. I don't really listen to J. Cole too much, but I feel like if I had a J.
You sit
Cole,
down with Jay. Yeah.
if I had
Hear that, Jermaine?
access to J. Cole and could like
Yeah.
present him with a track or some tracks that I feel like, man, just do this. It will go up.
It'll
You'd be
open
as
up.
Quincy Jones.
It'll
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Jermaine Cole is listening. Open invitation. Sir, what do you think the legacy of a Millie is?
It's really not what I think. I just watch what's happening. I'm just observing what is doing, and it just hit its 10 million mark. It's diamond now. So
Diamond status, y'all.
10
that means
million.
that means 10 milli.
yeah, that's an accomplishment within itself.
Yes.
Then I see people rank a Millie as like top 5 greatest hip hop songs of all times. That's not me saying that. That's
Mhm.
what I see. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So, I don't really judge my own thing. I like everything I do, and I'm just biased to that.
You come across as a very, like, in a good way, a very humble person.
Yeah, I'm a humble person. I do me and present it, and where it falls, it falls. And my whole career, I've been blessed to overachieve.
Well, listen, before we end the show, we want to play a game with you. It's called What's One Song? Here are the rules. We'll ask you a question, and you'll give us a one-song answer. Answer as quickly as possible. Don't overthink it. It's just like, we'll ask the question and then just like throw out the first song that pops in your head.
Okay.
So what's one song that reminds you of growing up in Iowa?
Hip Hop Parade.
By Naughty by Nature.
Yeah, I think just because it was a pop record. Like it was,
KG made pop records.
yeah.
He really made pop records. He was one of the
It was
first.
top 40 song,
What's one song that inspired you to make music?
Outkast, Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Music.
Great song. What's one song that you think changed hip hop?
In a good way or bad way?
Either way.
In a bad way. Would be
In a
really
bad
interesting.
way, in a bad way, I would say there's a period of there's a time period of Atlanta sound when Atlanta had the way, like when they still might have it, but
Yeah.
the swag era,
Okay.
the wave, the swaggy.
Are you about to
rap,
say swag surf? Because we are going to wrestle.
swag rap?
Swag rap?
I feel like
Party like a rock star?
those are anthems. I'm not gonna put those in there. They're more like the snap era. That
E4L, man. Come on. That was a great era.
we got Shawty Low out of there.
Shiloh was great.
That we went more street when he went solo, but
Dano.
yeah,
Yeah.
great song.
Dano is a great song.
Great song. But I feel like that era, I know like people
The
gonna
ringtone era,
people
too.
gonna not like what I'm saying. But there was some about the beats. They was thin and it was like just a little cheesy for me.
It was supposed to ring out on a Nokia phone. You know, that was the whole point of that.
The songs weren't really about nothing. Like it's just street dudes dancing. Wasn't really
the big white tees.
I just didn't understand. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
So in a bad way, that in a good way, I feel like a Millie changed the game.
I would agree.
In a good way.
What's one song you like to drive around to?
Mini Men, 50 Cent.
What's one song that always gets the party started to this day?
A Millie.
That's true. Very true.
The answer to all these questions is actually a Millie.
And
Till this day, yeah.
And finally, what's one song we have to break down on a future episode of this show? One song.
DJ Premier.
Mm-hmm.
A song that he produced. I feel like Premier and Alchemist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back then were the greatest hip hop commercial. Like their songs will be on the radio. Their songs be lead singles. Like they had an era where they're really chopping and like going through the process of producing hip hop records that actually are commercialized.
So commercial, but so underground at the same time.
So underground at the same time.
I think my favorite DJ Premier, Come Clean, J. Rue.
That'll leave caught defunct. The results, you'll remain stuffed in a car trunk. You couldn't come to the jungles of the East, popping that game. You won't survive. Get live, catching.
That's
a
good one. You don't see that one coming.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through, man. Playing our games, spending some time with us. What would you like to tell us about? As far as like, is there anything you want to plug? Is there an artist that you got coming out? Like, what would you like to tell our listeners that they should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, just keep an eye out on I'm working on fashion. I'm designing clothes.
And to those watching on YouTube, you can see the man is decked out. I was asking, who made that jacket?
Yeah, I have a clothing line and I have merch. And to go with my merch, I have music. I have a body of work for the backdrop of my merchandise and my clothing line. This jacket, like you said, like the inside lining is embroidered with my logo. This is my merchandise right here. This is 2 Chainz with 5 Grammys on it because I got 5 Grammys.
There you go.
And it's called Lobster Mango Vucci.
And what does that mean?
It's just something I came up with, but the lobster is like a symbol of the bottom feeder, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a delicacy on earth, you know what I'm saying? So it's from the top to the bottom type thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the mango is just, refreshing for the body. I just threw that in there, and the Vucci kind of sound like a real meal, lobster mango Vucci, you know what I'm saying? The Vucci just played off the Gucci, the V for the female. So like I said, like let me stand up. You're gonna get these jackets like this, but these got pants to me. I was gonna wear the pants today, but I didn't want to do too much. I didn't want to do.
Bro, you're doing it perfect. You didn't do too much, not too little.
The right amount. It's the right amount.
Suit. I got these in yellow. Yeah.
And we can find all this on the website, right?
Yeah.
Give us the website.
You can go on my IG, Bangladesh Productions.
Okay.
And go to my bio link, and the website will pull up.
Okay, so Bangladesh Productions on Instagram.
Yeah.
Link is in my bio.
Link is in the bio, y'all.
Right to order some merch or some clothing.
And we're going to be listening out for some new music as well.
Absolutely. I also have a song out with Kaylin Castle. It's called Big Pressure.
Big Pressure.
I remade the rhythm, Showtime rhythm. I also have a song out called Doe, which is my song featuring Bree Biasi, new artist out of Atlanta.
Okay.
So yeah, those are my personal records that I'm presenting to the world.
Very nice. All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on our show on
Thank
One
y'all
Song.
too. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for having me.
Great talking to you.
It was fun.
We learned so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We learned a lot today. All right. And as always, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me on Instagram at Diallo, Diallo, and on TikTok at Diallo Riddle.
And you can find me on Instagram at LUXXURY and on TikTok at LuxuryXX.
And you can also follow One Song. It's got its own Instagram account. It's at One Song Podcast on Instagram and TikTok for all that exclusive content. You can also watch full episodes of One Song on YouTube and Spotify. Just search for One Song Podcast We'd love it if you'd like and subscribe.
Also, be sure to check out the One Song Spotify playlist for all the songs we discuss in our episodes. You can find the link in our episode description.
That's right. And if you've made it this far, we think that means you like this podcast. So please don't forget to give us 5 stars, leave a review, and share us with someone you think would like this show. It helps keep the show going. All right, Luxury, help me on this thing.
I'm producer, DJ, songwriter, and musicologist Luxury.
And I'm actor, writer, director, sometimes DJ, Diallo Riddle.
And this is One Song. We'll see you next time.
This episode was produced by Melissa Dueñez. Our video editor is Casey Simonson. Our associate producer is Jeremy Bimbo. Mixing by Michael Hartman and engineering by Eric Hicks. Production supervision by Razak Boykin. Additional production support from Z Taylor. The show is executive produced by Kevin Hart, Mike Stein, Brian Smiley, Eric Eddings, Eric Weil, and Leslie Guam in the heart of Hollywood, California.